Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly market update. I hope everyone is doing well out there, having fun, cracking some packs, and playing some games. It is a hobby, it is here to be enjoyed. Don't forget that, and don't let the money part of it get in the way. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. Also, check out our other channels if you're into the comic book stuff. It appears TCG Player will soon be listing comics, and we have set up our shop to do that as well. So, Tommy's Top Picks shop will have comics listed on TCG Player at launch. I'm not sure exactly how many. Tommy was working on that last night, but I'm sure he'll have more updates. So, go check out the Tommy's Top Picks comic channel. It is linked in our descriptions, I believe. Question mark. He has mentioned it before, but I think you can find it with Tommy's Top Shelf and Tommy's Tabletop. I think are the two new channels to check out. So, anyways, let's jump into the market and let's see what's going on here. First off, WTR Unlimited boxes jumped 21.3% to $61 a box. Now, we had talked about how this was getting really low, and that I don't think anything has ever been this low, this consistently on a per box basis in Unlimited. I could be wrong on that, but my memory was that I'd never seen anything below 50, and we'd sat several weeks below 50 for WTR, and it sprung back up. You know, these things tend to happen if you get low price for too long. Eventually, the whole system corrects, which is what happened here. So we're back at $61 a box. Nothing remarkable, right? Nothing to write home about or take to the bank or anything. We're starting to see similar price action on Monarch, though. So this is what the point of this is, that you should note when it starts to get below $50 a box, there's almost certainly going to be a bounce back at some point in the future. Now, it can take a month. Note 55, and then it took a month under 50 before we got the spring back. So it can take some time. I don't know that we want to take any of this to the bank, because if you look back here, we had periods of low, spring back up, back down to low. So maybe next week we're down back under 50. I don't know. I cannot tell you what the market will do. I will just say that it does seem like, in a general trend, there's more heat in this market than downward pressure for the first time in some time, I would say. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder what that's about. Why are people getting out there and buying cards? My guess is in preparation for Dynasty release. That's my best guess. Is that people are hyped about Dynasty. The reveals so far have indicated certain classes will have some power, so they're buying boxes, speculating on those valuable combinations and things like that. I could be wrong on that. It could just be a flushing. Well, no, flushing of the system. You'd see the price go down. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, that's my guess. It's based on Dynasty. It's coming up. People are getting hyped. That's for sure. So, anyways, let's move on. Arc Unlimited is up 4.8% with an honorable mention. Didn't quite break the five, but did get bold. This is significant because it's now over 100 a box again, which we have not seen in a couple of months since the beginning of September. It was 102. And then we had this slide over the long term, a spike back forward towards 100, but just shy of it, and then it broke 100 this week. So we are seeing that back up above the $100 mark. Will it stay there? That's a question, but we've frequently speculated about the lowering supply. You know, it is diminishing over time. It's not to be reprinted again. At least it doesn't seem it, the way 2.0 is going in history packs and all that sort of thing. So aside from some sort of special, Remember Arc edition, I don't really predict that these will be reprinted. They do have the right and ability to do it, though. So any speculation on unlimited products should be very carefully thought out and not something you're betting any sort of farm, bank, or other thing on, because unlimited, they have explicitly said in their policy that they can print it again. So it's possible. I just don't think they will, because there's no point. It's an older set. They have history packs. They've kind of moved forward with the new model, the 2.0. So I just don't think they will. So, Arc, very popular non-banned classes, as one commenter said last week. Thank you. I don't recall your name off the top of your head, but that was wise. I like that take. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what's happening. We're running out of supply, and it has popular classes that people like that are still viable and good cards. So, anyways, moving on. Not much else going on until we get down to Monarch first edition boxes, up 13.19%. I think this is a spring back because it did drop from 102, 98, 92, and then real hard drop 79, right? So down below 80. Now it's just kind of reverting to a mean. This is more of a reversion to a mean, which was a low, a blue 2 weeks ago, and now it's a red for this week because it's coming off of 79. So this is kind of mid ground, like it didn't make up a lot of ground. This is in the middle between the previous peak and the previous low. So that's kind of reversion to the mean. I don't think this is a big deal. I think this is just finding equilibrium. Went too far here, not high enough to reach old highs, can continue down on these paths. We'll see this in the chart. I'll show you when we get to Mon first edition. On the case side, interestingly, WTR jumped 5.18% to 27,420. If you recall, this was the price we had historically, 27,420, way back here. Yeah, you can see it. That was the price. I'm assuming the 420 part is for the meme, and it was the price basically since my beginning of tracking. There was a 2700 before that. Someone jumped it up to 420. I'm assuming this has been there the whole time, and then someone put a price lower, and it either got purchased or got pulled. I'm not sure which. On TCG Player, you cannot see sales history when there's so little volume, so we're not sure exactly what happened. But 27,420, we're back to it, which is where we were a long time ago. It could also be that a third-party sale happened, some Facebook sale or something that was public enough that it affected the person listing it to bump it back up to 27. I don't know. These old products are very rare. They don't move often. You can't tell much from it, but the fact that it jumped back up is interesting. I'm curious if we'll see the same thing happen for ARK, because as you know, historically, when WTR was there, ARK was at this $19,000 range. It did jump up to this 24, almost 25 at one point, and it bounced in that area for a while. So again, we don't know who the players are, and there's no liquidity or sales history, so we can't really tell what's going on. But it has flirted in these ranges for a while, and then it dropped significantly down, cut by half down to the 9,000 range, and now we're at this much lower 6,000 range. So I don't know if this will go up, but again, these two products are super limited in the availability. There's just not a lot of them out in the world. There's very few that are for sale, so it's challenging to get a hold of them. So eventually these prices will go up, assuming there's still demand for them, which I see no reason why there wouldn't be in the long run. Only other thing here, well, two other things here. Tales of Aria rose 7.9%, almost 8%, to 303 for the first edition cases. It's just a continuation of the volatility we've seen up, down, up, down, up, down every week. Slightly lower than the previous high. This one was slightly lower than the previous low, so we're on a general downtrend, but with volatility, so it's kind of hard to say. It could break out up or down, or it could just flatline and get stable somewhere in between the two. We'll see what the charts look like, but I'm not all that interested in this at this point. It's Tales of Aria. So while I think it's outside of all the map, I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments if I am. While it's outside all the map, it's just at a point where it's trying to find its equilibrium with its supply. And first edition is probably getting to a point where the supply isn't as available as before, but I doubt it's like running out. Like it's not running out anytime soon. So it's just trying to find its equilibrium in its free market. Everfest is down 12%. It kind of makes sense. I think it probably just came off of map. Also notable is that we are going into the next set, so stores will be dumping their excess product to get room on the shelf for the next set, and Everfest is probably the thing to dump because it's also a supplemental set, right? So if I'm a store, I keep Uprising on the shelf because we got to use that for draft, and it's still a recent set, blah, blah, blah. But Everfest is now 2 sets old. Dynasty is about to come out, and that's going to basically replace Everfest on the shelf. That's the way I would look at it as a store, because it's a supplemental set, and this creates a nice cadence going forward, which is something that we'll see for the first time now, basically, where they have supplemental draftable, supplemental draftable, supplemental draftable. So every other set, you'll probably see a dumping of the set 2 sets back. And that could lead to some real good opportunities to pick up some stuff. So keep that in mind. If you want to maximize your spending power, it might be worthwhile to wait for the set to be replaced by the next X set draftable or supplemental, right? And then jump in and buy then, because you might get the best deals, right? And now you got to be patient, and you won't be able to play with the cards for that period, which could lead to like some cards being banned or LL'd before you even get a chance to play them. But if you're thinking about it from a collectible standpoint, investable standpoint, that's probably the way I'd think about it. And again, none of this is financial advice. This is just some cardboard numbers, right? Cardboard numbers. No one cares about this. A couple things to note in the market before we jump over and look at top selling. History Pack Volume 1 is down at $95. It's under $100. That's significant because the packs per box is 36, I believe, so it's significantly lower per pack than your standard box. So something to keep track of if you are looking for the older cards and you don't mind the white border. That might be the way to go for you. I don't track those because they explicitly said they are not collectible and they will be reprinted every time they need to be. So I don't think their price will have too much volatility, honestly. This is just a low for now, and we'll see what happens over the long run. Pre-sales for Dynasty went up. That's kind of cool. We'll look at that in a second. Let's go ahead and jump in with the cards. All the usual suspects. Ooh, Stormstrider's at 110. Is that real? It is, with shipping included. That's the lowest I've seen in a while. Interesting. Huh. That's worth looking at if you need some Stormstriders. I did see it at 100 at one point, although I did not see any sales there. These charts are still messed up. Still saying 231, but if you filter by cold foil. Oh no, this one is actually right. Okay, Crown of Providence is right. Let's see if the eye is fixed. Ooh, Rainbow foil's down to $55. Yikes. Oh, the Fable is so low. Why is that? That's crazy. I mean, I know it's not super useful, but that's crazy. Anyways, it says it's 289. It's definitely not that. I saw it the other day. Yeah, it's 218 for the Fable now. So these are hitting lows. I'm still waiting for the next phase of this. So what we'll see as the dip for the cold foils and the collectibles on this is going to be, on Uprising, is going to be around the time that Dynasty comes out. That's my suspicion. And then that's when I'll pick up Tiger Stripe, Shuko's, Flame Scale Furnace, cold foils, and then I guess Ghostly Touch and the other ones that aren't listed in the, I guess they just don't have many sales. I figured Ghostly Touch would be more interesting after that Illusion reveal for the next set, but I guess not. Weird. Last time I came here, Dynasty was on here. Now it's not. I guess, well, okay, so what I wanted to point out was the prices were super high. That's weird. They disappeared. They were definitely on here a few minutes ago. It was like right around here. Anyways, so what happened was the Dynasty booster box was listed at 119, which is 10 over MSRP at 110 per box. Now they did jump the prices a little bit. 110 is the new price for a booster box, so expect that when you get your auto orders or whatever. But paying $10 extra doesn't make much sense, especially as a pre-sale, because we know these prices will come down. And Team Covenant sold at MAP. They did not sell it at MSRP. So like that's kind of setting a bar in the market, because I know they do a fair amount of sales. So the booster box case was $469 when I looked at it. That is above, you should expect around $440 for MSRP. So again, somebody's trying to get people excited or hyped or pay extra or whatever. Doesn't make sense to me. I would hold off. All right, let's go through the charts. Most of these are boring. Actually, let's just highlight a few. So WTR Unlimited, and then we'll go straight into first with Mon, and then WTR Tails and Everfest. Okay, so WTR Unlimited. Yeah, here we see this spike here. Oops, sorry. Here we see the spike So this puts us at an arbitrage opportunity, but not much of one. I believe that is, what is it, per case 229. It's 57. So this is, yeah, that's that one. 57. This is 61. No, that's 61. This is 57. Okay, so $3, $4 again. Not a very big arbitrage opportunity, but it's interesting to see this variance. You see the craziness here, and then now this is trying to catch up to where this has been for a while pretty stably. So we'll see. It'll probably settle back down underneath, giving a normal premium. Nothing too special there. Let's jump ahead to the first edition because, again, nothing really interesting in the other charts. Here's our crazy WTR chart. Can't really do much with that. And then we said Tales of Aria and Arcane Rising. Yeah, so here's that volatility we were talking about and a downward trend because this is higher than this, although 305 is even with this, so it's just barely curling over, and this is lower than this. So it's not even really remarkable enough to note, honestly. So I would say this is a flat trend as opposed to a downward trend. I thought it would be more obviously a downward trend. It is not. So we'll see where it lands. I'm guessing somewhere in the middle, and it'll probably flatline for a while because that's just how these things go. Similar to how we saw down here. See how we see this volatility, and then just kind of flatlines kind of in the middle between the high and the low. This is what happens. It's very normal with supply demand volatility leading into stable market equilibrium, which is how price is equal to supply and demand, right? Because they push each other in opposite directions, and then eventually they find their equilibrium, and that's where the price point is. Just that's Econ 101. Anyways, Everfest, more volatility, hanging tight, looks pretty flat, honestly. Maybe even on a, yeah, no, it's a tightening band here, so we're seeing it close from both sides, upwards on the bottom, downwards from the top, but it's so slight, it's probably not worth remarking about. Big ARB opportunity here with $9. Yeah, $9 difference. Again, if you're a store, you don't have to pay taxes and stuff. Have some shipping discounts, things like that. This may be a good opportunity for you to crack a case and sell boxes, but not financial advice at all, especially on that sort of thing. And then Uprising is rising. Look at that. Look at that. The box price rose. That's new. That is definitely new. Interesting. 2.0 is definitely playing a different game. I am very interested to watch this unfold over time. We're still playing with maps, so most of this flatline stuff is just like map. It's nothing special. This was somebody dumping stock, I assume, and breaking map, saying I'm done, that sort of thing. But now we see an upward trend. That's intriguing. Let's keep an eye on this going forward because 2.0 is going to be interesting to get new patterns, insights, and ideas moving into further sets. As we get 4 or 5 sets in, think about it, we're going to have to rely on Uprising's price action to give us an indicator about what to do at different points down the line. First philosophy and theory we're trying is wait till the next set to buy the cold foils. With this price spike, if this holds, if this continues, I may be wrong on that. And I'm willing to be wrong. I mean, this is the whole point of experimenting with these things. If I have to pay a little bit extra at cold foils because I learned a lesson about how the 2.0 economics work, I'm willing to pay that tax. That's a relatively cheap economics lesson, isn't it? So I'm going for that. I'm okay with that. That is the plan. I will stick with the plan, as you should when you make a financial decision or plan. That is typically the way to do it. Think about it outside of the context of volatility and emotions. Come up with a plan, and then when you get emotional, when things do get volatile, you stick with it and you stay with the plan. That way you know that your logical, non-emotional self is guiding the ship, as opposed to, oh my god, the prices are dropping, or oh my god, the prices are spiking, I'm afraid I should jump in, right? Those are emotions driving buying decisions, and that tends to lead to losses. So just a little piece of advice. Hopefully you find it useful. Broadly economically, for those of you who have stuck around till this part, it does look like we're about to hit a recession. The Fed is still continuing to push into it. CPI was higher than expected, which is a bad thing for all economies. This is globally, but in the U.S. in particular for us. Well, no, let me rephrase that. The U.S. actually is being hit less because it has some more flexibility as a reserve currency. The globe is being hit more heavily. Several countries are already in a recession. And when I say recession, I mean like a hardcore, serious recession, not just slight, rule of thumb type of recession. And our country is at the precipice or just barely in one, whatever. Point being that we haven't seen the big pain yet. Other countries are starting to see the big pain. It looks like we will start seeing it soon. The Fed is acting aggressively to try to squash the economy, basically to avoid long term stagflation. Interestingly, the mood on the street, the mood in the markets is starting to turn against this plan. Initially, it was supportive because stagflation is bad for everyone. But now the pain is starting to hit pocketbooks, the pain is starting to hit politics, the pain is starting to hit investment hedge funds and large organizations. And so there's a lot of media starting to complain about it. I personally think that they are still acting in the right way. I wouldn't I may change my mind in the coming months as this continues and we continue to see what happens. But this is the right economic policy from my understanding of the economics. They have a deeper understanding of it, and I kind of trust that they're looking at it. At the same time, the Fed is notorious for taking too long to change their mind. So the market could be saying, change your mind now. Fed waits 2 months, and that's 2 months too long. I don't know. I don't have the data, and I am not at that level of competency to have a strong opinion on it. I just know what I've seen, and I follow history, and that's the basis of my knowledge. So at this point, it seems like it's still sound policy, but it won't be obvious that it isn't sound policy until well after and when the pain hits, and that's pretty normal. But based on the previous plan and how they're thinking, they're staying steady with what they said, which is actually better for the markets because at least the market knows what to expect. Surprises from the Fed are way worse than bad policy from the Fed that lasts too long, slightly too long, typically speaking. So, anyways, I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're out there enjoying games because that's what this hobby is about, is playing games. Personally, I like the markets. They are a game that I enjoy. But I also like playing the card games, and I've been doing a lot of that, a lot of games recently. Got a bunch of stuff we talked about in the podcast. Check that out. It was fun playing at Ren Fair. It was fun having a birthday bash that involved a lot of games. So really did enjoy it, and appreciate you guys and your comments. I always like to respond to them and see them. So please leave a comment. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. And I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time.